All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us. My name is Isaac, Sales and Marketing Assistant here at TechShare. We are going to cover the Winter 2023 release together here. And on our agenda, I just have a couple things to cover before we dive right into the winter release. There's a few things coming in the fall release I want to cover as well. And then we'll move on to the usual implementation steps. And then we'll dive into what's new in that winter release coming to you guys in the next couple weeks. And then we'll end the call with just a little bit about what's happening in the Avocado user group. And we'll touch on what you guys can expect as we say goodbye to 2022 and we plan for 2023. So, like I said, just a quick update on the fall 22 release. Additional avocado patches, they have been documented in both the summer and fall release notes. These additions will ultimately be rolled out as part of this winter 23 release we're discussing. I invite you guys to review our release notes for those releases. That way you can get an in-depth look at the fixes and changes added to those previous quarters releases. And there are a couple features in there I just want to touch on before we dive into winter. So for facility bookings, we did make a couple additions with regards to our primetime pricing. Drag and drop functionality now functions with our primetime pricing as well as recurring bookings. We've added some CSS customization options for the Avocado portal. We've added the ability to use CSS to hide a field on the portal. This ultimately allows you to update the styling for the same fields or sections in the Avocado portal. And just as an example here, this is how we've been using this. This functionality can be used to hide the ability to cancel an automatically renewed registration from the portal. Again, that option is coming to you guys in these releases. And I'll just move on. Term memberships, a couple things to talk about here. You can now offer term memberships with a fixed start and end date. That's regardless of the purchase date. And as an example, let's say we want to offer curling memberships that have the same start and end dates no matter when they were purchased. That core functionality is coming, as well as validation rules. Those have been added to these term memberships as well. So onward to winter, I just wanted to make sure I got those few features in there before we started. I just wanted to touch on our release plan for winter. Last week, I got you guys those release notes, and here we are today. I did want to note just a small adjustment to our timeline for Sandbox and production releases. We're shooting to have the winter release ready for Sandbox, not on 26th, but on the 28th, just to account for our holidays. And same with January 3rd. It'll be ready early New Year's for you guys for production. And I always like to touch on this too. When this release is ready for your Sandbox, we do encourage internal testing. And then per your approval from your team, reach out to your account manager or implementation manager, and we'll get that deployed into your production environment. And I like to always say here too, that if you have any questions about this features or bugs or anything else I touch on during this call, I invite you to reach out to, again, either your account manager or implementation manager, and they'll be able to break those down in more detail than I'm going to. It's just a high-level discussion on what's coming for the Winter 23 release. So let's move on. In total, there's over 25 brand new features coming in this winter release, and we're going to break down a few of them. Start with a couple changes to the UI in the Avocado menu. And let's start with 9670. The cancellation date and cancellation reason fields. These are now visible from the Avocado menu. We can view these in the Avocado menu under accounts and viewing memberships. And we can do all this without needing to open up the Salesforce backend. And just an example here, we're looking at a membership in the Avocado menu. This particular client has canceled, And again, we can see the reason here. They chose to cancel for financial reasons, and I can do all that from the menu. I don't need to open up the Salesforce backend. Next, we've added a little help text notification. This will explain how to enter your friendly name for credit card information. This will appear both in the Avocado menu and the Avocado portal. So whether it's frontline staff or your end users or members hopping in the portal, they'll just see this little blurb. It'll remind us all that this is the nickname for our payment method, and it'll give us some advice for best practice as we name our different credit cards in the system. Moving on to the portal, a few changes in there. Membership expiration dates. These are now visible from the Avocado portal. So your portal users, they'll receive a warning message on the My Membership screen, and they'll see this when one or more of their memberships are nearly expired. I do want to note this can be hidden with those CSS adjustments we touched on a little bit earlier. But otherwise, when your members hop in their portal, just like I did with my testing account, I had, I believe, at least one or two expiring memberships in there through my various testing. But I can see, hello, Isaac. You have at least one membership expiring soon, and I'm invited to contact my home location and see about renewing that. Next, another sort of UI change. We've added a visual warning in the portal when users edit a previously submitted form in the Avocado portal. This warning indicates that the user has already attached a file, and if they choose to upload a new file, it will, of course, replace the old one. Just an example inside the interface, I already have a attachment for this particular prompt. And if I choose to update that, I will, of course, replace that old attachment and attach the new one. Next, a few account and contact changes to talk about in Avocado. 11763. Emergency contact names and emergency contact phone numbers. These will now be required in both the Avocado menu and the Avocado portal. In the portal, this info will be required when a user edits an account or a contact, or when they choose to register for an instance without this information. And I do want to make a note too that Avocado will pre-fill this information based on the primary contact's contact info. And these values will not be backfilled on existing records. But when a user, again, either staff or an end user in the portal, if they go in and want to edit, they'll need to update that info. And just so we see here, affects both the Avocado portal and the Avocado menu as well. Next, let's talk about account and contact prompt groups. These can now be filled out multiple times. And that applies to both the Avocado menu as well as the Avocado portal. If we submit a new version, this will expire the older version. This process will create a new application record that will associate with the prompt responses. And here I am. I can see that I've already submitted this list of standard questions, and I am notified that I can choose to fill this out again. If I select complete, it will expire my previous answers. Moving right along, similarly here, account and contact prompt group responses, they can also be locked from adding additional responses in the portal. This is controlled by the prompt group one-time submission field. And this will only affect the portal, so your staff, they can still edit responses using the menu. But if a portal user tries to answer this prompt group multiple times and this selection is set, they won't be able to. And here's what we'll see. We're just looking at that same form. We're looking at the prompt group in the backend, and I can choose whether or not to make that a one-time submission. Next, just a couple changes to talk about with memberships. The Avocado portal users, they can now purchase multiple memberships at a time. Ultimately, the system will still make one order per membership, but they can be selected and paid for in one transaction. And here's an example. I hopped into the Avocado portal. I got a couple memberships queued up. I shopped for my family, And when I'm ready, I have all my memberships in my basket. I can proceed to checkout in just one transaction. Next, we've added the ability to see a price range when we're purchasing a membership in the Avocado menu. This, of course, only applies if the membership package has a price group. Here's an example just from our list of our different memberships in the environment. And these ones, I can see a price range. Next, let's move on to programs and instances. We've added the ability to add an extra product to instance registrations, and we accomplish this with the supplementary fee field. See that right there, supplementary fee below the purchase. And next, Avocado, it will now check the age of a target instance before completing an instance registration transfer. We'll ultimately see an alert, and your staff, they may either choose to proceed or cancel. Here we are trying to transfer these instance registrations. I get a notice that some of the kids there, they don't meet the requirements of that other instance, and I can again choose to override or go back. Next, inactive sessions. These will no longer display throughout Avocado. This applies to areas like the session filter when we're in the menu and we are browsing programs and camps, as well as the registration page filter. As you can see, I have a list of our different sessions. Some of these up here, they're not up to date, no longer relevant to me as the user. So I find those sessions in the back end. I deselect active. And now my list is updated to reflect the current year and future sessions. Next, instance registration start priority membership start field. This can now be edited in the Avocado menu under programs and camps. So we're in the menu. We have an instance pulled up. And from here, I can adjust the registration start priority membership start date. This will give priority membership holders a bit of a head start registering for that. And again, I can do this now from the Avocado menu. I don't need to adjust that in the backend. And next, just one feature I want to touch on with regards to facility bookings. That is that facilities can now be set to closed on select days of the week. This is controlled by the closed days field on a facility. So for this water bouncy castle, we decided to close that on the weekends. And if I hop in to either the menu or the portal and I want to book that water bouncy castle, I will see clearly that unfortunately it is closed Saturday. And here too, we'll see that the water bouncy castle is closed for the weekend. Maybe I'll go on Monday. Um, and again, that's either in the Avocado menu or the portal, we'll see those closed days. On to orders and finance. We've added a new flow. This will send an email with a receipt whenever a scheduled payment is taken. And for Kiwi, we just made some adjustments to ultimately streamline how images are captured in Kiwi. So when we click that capture profile picture button, when we have an account pulled up in Kiwi, and we take a lovely photo of that member, we click save, that will automatically save and be applied to that contact. Ultimately, we're just getting the same thing done with less clicks when we're adjusting or adding images through Kiwi. And just a couple miscellaneous changes I want to cover. The Avocado Custom Settings tab. This will now display in alphabetical order. So we have an organized list of our different Avocado custom settings we can browse through. We've added a new prompt response type. This one is for longer form text responses. up to a colossal 131,000 characters. We find this under prompts. We browse different response types and we'll find text area long. And as I can see here, if I want a larger form, bit of information from my users in our prompts, they can add, again, up to a very high end of 131,000 characters in response on that text area long prompt. And just a couple more. We added additional functionality to the payment details, a permanently disabled field, and one that's really only internal, but it is an adjustment to Avocado, so you'll see it in the release notes. We added a development tool. This is just to assist our team with future troubleshooting moving forward. And just a quick note on bug fixes. With every release, we do our best to get ahead of some of these noted bugs. And we've included bug fixes in the Avocado menu, the portal, bugs affecting memberships, programs, facilities, orders, and Kiwi. I'm not going to spend any more time covering these bugs, but like I said, if you have questions about any specific bug fix, I invite you to reach out to your account manager or support, and they'll be happy to discuss it with you. And of course, documentation is available in that full release note documentation. So let's close out. Let's just talk about what's coming next for 2023. I want to just talk about some things we've done in the Avocado user group since I last spoke to you guys for the fall release. And we'll touch on what to expect in terms of 2023 Avocado releases. So as you guys know, we have an Avocado user group on Meetup. In it, we are delivering content like webinars, roundtables, and we're ultimately trying to facilitate discussion between the wonderful industry professionals in my audience and in that group. Since we last talked, we hosted quite a few different events. We recently had a discussion on Avocado forms, how to use those prompt groups and whatnot. Kind of a basic rundown on how our forms work. We met again with the user group to talk about navigating childcare subsidies. I want to check in with our Canadian teams and to see how we were making out and what next steps we could take with regards to recent childcare subsidies. We also met with the user group to talk about camps. We did it roundtable style. We heard from many different teams, heard about how you guys are using camps, using Avocado to effectively facilitate your camps. We heard great feedback from that group, and we look forward to maybe next steps there. And we also touched on the skills module recently. Rachel gave us a great rundown on the skills module and showed us how it works and how to use it effectively. So yeah, a lot happened in the fall. We are looking to do more in the user group in 2023. And recaps for all these events are also available on YouTube. I'll send you guys a link in chat, but if you missed them, take a look on YouTube, and we hope to see more and more people there as we move forward with the user group in 2023. So just before we leave, I want to talk about 2023. We are going to be moving forward with quarterly releases in 2023. Here is a overview of the year. We will be shooting for an April release for the spring 2023 release. And with that, we are going to maintain this sort of weekly milestone structure with the spring release. So you guys will be hearing from me in an email. I'll have the release notes to you for spring on April 3rd. After that, we'll do a release presentation just like this on the 11th. And it'll be ready for sandbox the week after that, and ultimately ready for production in late April. So with that, that's all I had for this group. I want to say thanks again for being here and joining us. I hope everyone has a happy holiday, a safe new year, and I look forward to seeing everybody, I guess, in the spring. So thanks again.